right?
Yeah, of course. But you guys, people are starting to realize this year. It took you guys a while, but that's what I've been telling you guys. If you can't play, he doesn't make anyone better. I've said that on many of these podcasts.
LeBron doesn't make anybody better.
Nobody better. He makes everybody worse. I told you guys he made. Yeah, but you guys fought with me. I said he made Bosch worse. He made Wade worse. He made Kevin Love worse. Isaiah played worse. I don't know how many All-Stars he's played with. If you name them, I'll say they got worse under his watch. They should be getting better.
Well, I mean, when guys have their own team and they're the focal point of the team, and then they're no longer the focal point of the team, of course, then they're not gonna be better players. But are the complementary players better?
No, but what you're good at shouldn't fail. So if Kevin Love gets 30 rebounds in a game and you don't have to shoot as much, you should be getting 40 rebounds. You shouldn't be getting 2 rebounds.
Remember even when he was in Minnesota, Kevin Love was the focal point of the offense. He's never been the focal point of the offense in Cleveland.
No, but focal point of the offense has absolutely nothing to do with rebounding. The reason he's not rebounding is because
they're stretching him to the 3-point line.
Catch and shoot threes. So how is he supposed to get him rebounds? But he's supposed to be out there to give LeBron assists to shoot threes. He's not supposed to be able to do his own things, at least get rebounds. Don't use me as an option then. Valanciunas isn't an option, and he's playing wicked every single game. 17 rebounds the other day. And they don't even look for him.
But that's also not a very consistent thing either.
His numbers
this year's been better.
His numbers for someone who doesn't get looked at is amazing to me. They don't even look at him at all. He's completely ignored.
It's also, again, the East doesn't have many centers that are that decent either. But
any other topics that you guys wanted to touch on? Any of teams?
Well, you want to talk about Wiggins, right?
Yes, that's right. I did want to talk about Wiggins. We can talk about that last. So we'll do Toronto first, then we'll do LeBron, Cleveland, and then we'll do Wiggins. Because I want to get into a debate about if he wants it or not. And I was talking to you guys in the gym about how I feel like this could be make or break, where he could be like that Rudy Gay type, and his time frame to be like a superstar. That window's closing. He'll always be Wiggins. I feel like he'll always be like I told the guy. He'll always get you 20, 22 points for his career. But in terms of getting that next level, the window's closing on him being elite.
Well, like it was his comparison when he came in wasn't like Scottie Pippen-esque, something like that.
Nuggets, Portland. I want to talk about Portland, how they somehow come up. I still think that they're pretenders. They've been trash forever. They're not winning the title.
They're not. There's 2 teams better than them. So Scott, they built it the fairway. They're just one signing away.
They've had the same team forever.
I think that they're just. You got the Spurs that is better as like worse than Portland. You said 2 teams, right?
What do you mean 2 teams?
So you said there was only 2 teams better than them, right?
You said that they're not.
I said they're not winning the title. I said they're not winning it.
Because the first thing you said is they're not real. They're pretenders. They're not pretenders. They're legit. They're just not good enough to win.
Yeah. And then also Golden State's injury issues. Every maybe after 15 minutes, can you just put up the time? What's time? Yeah.
It's 5:04.
We got an hour?
No. I went to the gym at 9 a.m. so I can go home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for like an hour.
We'll do an hour.
15.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of On the Block. It's been a while. We have to touch on some things. Lamar Grant, Igor Henriquez, and Joe Grafari. We're going to get right into it with both rocking the Toronto Raptors gear today. I was going to say there's not too much more the Raptors can do. We've seen them win another game yesterday in Dallas. Here against Dallas. The Houston Rockets game last week, I wanted to do a pod last week, touch about that. I think that was a big statement game. We weren't able to get together, so I want to touch on those 2 games and also what Toronto has left to do to show the NBA world that they're for real. Who wants to start off there?
Well, I don't think like a lot of other commentators and what they speak about. The Raptors are showing that they're good already. It's just that they keep losing the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter. I don't care if they were in 8th or 1st. They're not going to really until they can beat either Cleveland or like a team. Basically, it's just Cleveland they have to beat, and no one's ever really scared of them.
Not Boston. Not Washington.
Boston has many injuries.
Look, let's put it this way: if they were to beat Washington or Boston, then teams would be like, okay, Cleveland should be worried. But I don't think that's not who they're going to end up playing first round. They're going to end up.
Well, as of right now, I think it's Milwaukee, but it's going to change. I think all those teams are all decent.
I think the seats 3 to 8 are pretty much interchangeable almost. So it could be Miami, it could be Philly, it could be a lot of teams depending on who goes on the run.
And they beat some okay teams last time, right? They beat Indiana, they beat Miami, they beat Milwaukee.
So the one thing about the Raptors is I think we can all say that we underrated the Raptors even when we did the show at the beginning of the year. Well, I mean, a lot of us had them finishing 4th. That was
Cleveland, Boston. I think we might have taken Milwaukee or
Washington
up in there. Yeah.
And I mean, there's only so much you can say. Best home record in the entire NBA. They're like
29-4 or
29-5. No one's even that close in terms of that stat. I think what we had underrated was the bench, and I think Dwayne Casey actually did change his philosophy in terms of how they play. So I mean, most games last year when the Raptors, when like let's say Lowry or DeRozan weren't going, and like I've seen games where DeRozan scored 8 points, the Raptors still win comfortably. The bench is basically what gets them that extra gear. I think guys like Fred VanVleet, Siakam, Hurdle. They've gone to the next level, and yeah, I mean they're man for man, like they can pretty much compete against anybody. Like, and that's why even when the starters aren't really doing well, the bench really picks up the slack, and I think that's been the biggest difference. They by far have the best bench in the NBA with ease. And come the playoffs, man, if they ever had a chance to reach the NBA Finals, it's this year. Like I don't think anyone's gonna say anything different. To me, their issue is likely that I personally predict that the Cavaliers are probably finishing in that 4th or 5th seed, and then they'll end up playing them in the second round, which you'd rather avoid that until the Eastern Conference Finals. But like I said, I don't think the Cavs are really. They're not going to get first. They realistically second's pretty much not really feasible unless Boston really goes on a bad skid. You're looking at them finishing 3rd at best, which for the Raptors would probably be the best case scenario, or if they finish 6th. Do I think the Raptors can beat them this year? Based on what I've seen, based off you have to think about it. Houston, Raptors beat them home and away. They pretty much, besides Golden State, where they lost both to Golden State, they pretty much beat everybody that you would say would be a legit contender. And like I said, if they're going to do anything this year, it's going to be this year. As surprisingly as it may be, this is probably their best chance of reaching the NBA Final, and I think it will be for years. Because I think next year, like teams like Philly will be a lot better. Again, you don't know what the LeBron situation is going to be, but this to me, they're primed for something. Again, like he mentioned, it's all going to come about in the playoffs. What are they going to do in the playoffs? How they're going to play? But I'm actually legitimately thinking they have a legitimate chance, which I have not thought in the last 3 or 4 years.
That's not true.
No.
That's not true. You guys thought they could
To reach the finals, to reach the NBA Finals, never.
Oh my God! I can't
When
believe you just
did
said
we
that.
say that they were going to reach the NBA Finals?
Well, except for last year, every year except for last year, you guys thought they were going to the finals. I can't believe what I did. I can't believe you just said that.
I've said it multiple times. We had them losing the first round. Even that was a couple years ago.
Only last year. That's the only time where I got you guys to think they were going to lose
the Milwaukee series. We had them losing. We had them losing to the Nets series. We had them losing.
No.
We had them a couple times in the first round. Never did we say NBA Finals.
Since I've done this
Never
show,
heard that
I predicted they were losing first round every year. You guys fought me.
So
first round and NBA Finals are 2 different things. So that's how big.
You thought they were going.
I never took them over Cleveland. Never got them over.
We'll just go back a few years to go on this. So 2 years ago, when you first jumped on the show, was Indiana first round, Miami second round.
Yeah, we had
and we were kind of
game 6.
I think Indiana was a time where we all said Toronto, and then when we saw how much they struggled, we flipped, and we're like, I'm not sure that can happen.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Indiana in the first round.
They played Indiana the first round?
Yeah,
and then they played Miami in the second round.
I came here remember when I first did the show when they lost to not after
when they swept against Washington.
That's when I first did it. Remember, and then the second year was when I said, it doesn't matter who they're going to lose. It doesn't matter who they play.
And what year did we say they were going to the NBA Finals?
No, there was a year where you said that they could compete and beat Cleveland. You didn't guarantee it. You didn't say that they were going to win.
I think that was this year when they played Cleveland in the East Final. But anyways, let's get back. Let's get back to this year. Let's go back to this year. What do you think about their squad?
So this is the only problem I have with them. First of all, their mentality is very similar to what Igor was just talking. Everything that he said is basically, we're lucking out right now and let's take advantage. So you believe we can squeak in and this is our best chance and then we'll go back to being nothing. This is a good team. No.
Squeak in.
Like he's saying, this is our best chance.
No, because if you look at
Cleveland, we're better than Cleveland.
No.
Why don't you take some authority? You're saying Philly's going to get better. Toronto could get better next year.
I'm basically saying that this year everything's coming together. You look at your Boston squad. We thought Boston was going to get seed. Kyrie might need season-ending surgery. Without Kyrie, they're not going to do anything. And Gordon's already out for the year. They're not really a threat. Washington's a good team, but I mean, considering that I'm playing without John Wall. The way we've been playing, we should be watching. We should beat any of those teams. The one guy, because again, you got to give the man his due. Every team that LeBron James has been on makes the NBA Finals. Until that doesn't happen,
I have my turn.
Until that happens,
my
you got to
turn.
say it to the
May
fans.
I have the mic? What I'm saying is that, and you guys know, you're not being consistent, but I am. What I've said about Toronto, I've never liked them until this year, and I said that earlier. And what I'm saying is that every team except my Boston team, if Hayward was there, is the only team I think they couldn't beat. They can beat Cleveland. I don't care about Wall being hurt or any of these excuses. If everybody's powered up, except for Boston, I don't think they could beat Boston if Hayward and everyone was there. But besides Boston, they could beat any one of these teams, and they can easily get some sort of signing or whatever, and continue to be good, not just some lucky year this year. So what I'm saying is that the way you're speaking, and it's the same mentality. Remember when they lost to LeBron last year, and then they were saying like we have to wait for him to retire or something?
Yes.
Perfect. So what I'm saying is that even if they beat them this year, I can picture them saying it's such an honor that we got to beat LeBron. Talk all this stuff. I can picture that. And it's not about that. You're better than him. Smoke him. Get to the finals and do something for us. But it's so like the way you're speaking.
Too much respect for LeBron.
Yeah, and too much respect for like everything, and like you almost want to win by default.
You gotta give,
Like okay,
you gotta
Irving
give
hurt.
you gotta give the devil his due. I don't think you give the devil his due.
He's losing to everybody.
At the end of the day, but again, come the playoffs. Again,
That's what people
the
say.
man hasn't been
Witnesses.
beaten until the NBA Finals. And again, and you got to get how many years is that in a row? 6, 7? How many times?
Yeah, exactly.
And again, that's an unprecedented run. Unprecedented. You don't see that. Golden
See,
State,
how much-
years.
That's a Toronto. That's a six mindset.
That's a roll of the red carpet.
He lost. Why are you boosting the fact that he got there? I don't care about the podium. Did you get gold?
Okay, but I think you gotta get the man green to this. Teams consistently get to the NBA Finals every year. Come on now.
So everyone knows.
If he was in the West, that wouldn't happen.
Everyone knows that
Yeah.
Everyone knows that Degrassi got second in the 100-meter at the last Olympics. Tell me the last two.
Degrassi.
Was that
Degrassi.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Tell me who won.
Usain Bolt won.
Okay, now who won silver for the other Olympics? You have no clue. Nobody cares how many silvers you get. I don't care that LeBron got there. You stacked your deck, you lost. What I remember is that you got smoked by Dallas, who was an aging, decrepit team.
I'll give you this thing.
You got swept by the San Antonio Spurs, which is an aging, decrepit team. Those are the things I think about. You had the Chiefs where you wanted to get picked up.
Spurs, well, back when he was one of the games by Spurs.
Hold on.
When he left Miami.
Hold on. Let's get back to this year, because I want to talk about this year. I want to talk about 7 years ago, like we always do. Let's get on this one. Do you think that they can beat?
They will beat Cleveland.
So they'll get to the finals. Toronto will get to the finals.
Yes. And sorry, one last thing, and it won't be long. Your other comment about it would be a bad idea if we play them in the second round. Why not? Beat them now. You want to wait for them.
Avoid them.
I want to play them.
So then you would stop LeBron from even getting to the East final. That would be unprecedented.
That would be unprecedented too.
But
you saw what happened yesterday with
he's
Virginia.
hoping that someone else can beat them and we have a better chance. Let's beat them
But
now.
also the thing to put into effect that the Raptors have been beaten the last couple of years in the playoffs by those Cleveland teams. At the end of the day, that does get in your head. I don't care what they tell you.
This is new
that
blood,
gets in your head. When you get swept, they were a pretty good team a couple of years ago. When they got swept by Cleveland, those star guys are still there. Valanciunas, DeRozan, those guys know what's up. Would I personally rather avoid Cleveland and face other teams? Probably.
If you got that mindset, you lost already. If you
No.
got that mindset, you lost already. There's no point in even playing.
So what you're telling me is that
you lost.
Hold on.
So,
What I'm going to tell.
So the 16th seed yesterday won in the March Madness tournament. You're telling me that I don't know who they face in the next round. You're telling me that the team that they're facing in the next round is not going to be relieved that they don't take out Virginia.
Relieved. No, but they're relieved that because they think they're beating a lesser team. But but I'm talking as the other team, right? You're telling me that we should avoid playing Cleveland. They should. Would
you not rather avoid playing the better teams? I would rather avoid playing the better teams.
So they're not.
You're going to have to play them.
But in the play, again, you guys are
That's
all
what I'm
regular
saying.
season.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
playoffs are different beasts.
Yeah, but let's stick with that, because this is where I'm going to come in and say that I think that this Raptors team is different. And I said that earlier, and I've been riding Fred VanVleet, so I want to give a shout out to him because he's been a killer on the court. And I think that he's been the best of that bunch. Him and Siakam and Pearl have been keys to that. And what I think that the difference is going to be this year is the fact that they moved the ball, which is why you're back to this year. They're not playing ISO ball, right? So when the playoff comes, and let's even say that status quo happens where DeMar chokes and Kyle Lowry chokes. Let's say that happens. Let's say that happens. What's happened this year? Like you said, DeMar scored 8 points. They still won by 20. Because when the bench comes in, they don't take their foot off the pedal. They're young, they're hungry, and they go at their bench and they beat up that bench. And they build leads instead of keeping the lead at what it is or losing that lead. They build on that lead. And that's why I like this squad.
And Lowry's not a chucker this year.
He's not. They
Sharper
rested
like
him.
he's been.
He rested last night. He's playing 30
I
minutes
love
a
the way
game.
he's playing.
He's playing smarter. I think DeMar's playing a little bit. DeMar's passing the bar a lot more. I got to give him credit for that. He's not doing those jump passes where he gets trapped in the triple team. He's playing a lot smarter, and that's why I think this team's different. I think
Fair point. But again, the proof is going to be once the playoffs start and if they can maintain the level that they've been playing at.
Absolutely.
To me, Cleveland's not playing at the highest level. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. And that's going
but
to
they
be the
never have
situation.
during the regular season, right?
But again, it's also the situation where come the playoffs, again,
It's always an excuse for Cleveland, man. They sucked all year.
well, again,
They have been bad all
They
year.
sucked
again,
all year.
Are you again, as an individual, are you betting against LeBron James in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference? It's a proven method since Boston beat him
You know what's proven? That he has doubters this year. I think that's
Sure.
proven. This is the first year he has doubters.
He's only 33 years old. He's getting old. I get it.
It's not age. He's fine. He sucks. His team sucks. They can't.
You can't say he sucks.
Here's it. I've been saying
A
he sucks.
declining player. No
I'm trying to
way.
think of a player older than him who's still a star.
Older than him and still a starter.
He's
Not
still
many.
athletic. He's
Not
still
many.
jumps high. Like,
There's not many.
I saw him freaking dunk over Nurkic in that Portland
we
game. That
talked
was
about
ridiculous.
But all I'm saying is
He makes
that-
nice passes and he gets chased down blocks. That's
Yeah,
trademark
yeah,
Lamar
yeah,
and LeBron.
What I would say is the beginning of the year, we're waiting on Isaiah. Then Isaiah comes, we're waiting on the chemistry. Then Isaiah sucks, they make some trades. Now the trades is we need chemistry. Now the excuses we're waiting for love. Now let's just wait to the playoffs. How many long are you guys gonna do this? All
Well,
year?
like
From
I
the
said,
beginning?
I will favor the Raptors in the series, but it's not. But again, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's going to be an easy series.
No,
that's
it's
going
not
to be
gonna
a
be.
10.
I don't think any of
series.
those series are going to be.
And again, you can't, man, when you get into that thing like LeBron James, no one's beaten LeBron in ages in the Eastern Conference. That gets in your head.
What do you think about OG going up against him? You think that he's a decent?
Again, and the Raptors have done like OG's been up for a couple games. He's back now. They have again a lot.
They have weapons to throw in.
And I want to say, I'm not going to say,
Anunoby.
I'm not telling you that all the Raptors are going to suck next year. I think you mistook my point. I'm telling you that this is the best open window that the Raptors have because there will be teams next year that will get significantly better.
But why can't they get better too?
Again, they can, but to me, this is the best.
The gap's
open house.
closing.
The gap is closing, and again, those teams might. Again, I still think Philly in a couple of years will be a power.
Yeah.
They have the guys that everyone stays healthy. This to me is the Raptors' best opportunity to get to the finals. So not saying that next year.
So tell me if I'm wrong. This is what I'm hearing is that if the Raptors won next year, this year, if they won the championship this year, even when it's said and done, it'd almost be like the Westbrook thing where you wouldn't even favor them to win next year. You just count this year basically as a
You're talking about winning the NBA championship?
Yeah, so
Do I think the Raptors are the best team in the NBA now? I don't think anybody knows.
Okay, so if the Cavs won this year, you would favor them to make it to the finals the next year, obviously.
To make
They have the
it or
same
win
team.
it.
If they won it this year and they had the same roster, you would be a favor that they would come out the East next year, right?
You would have to at the end
Okay,
of the
perfect.
year.
And if Golden State won this year, you would favor them to do it again, right?
I think regardless,
That's
Golden State's
not
the
big
favorite next year.
And if Houston won, do you think that Golden State would be as favored to win the next year? If
No,
Houston
I
were to
think,
win?
I think Golden State would still be a favorite.
I think we'll stand.
But it'll be
What
close.
you said?
But it'll be close. Yeah.
Okay.
That's based on
I disagree. I'm just saying, I want to hear what you
I-
guys are thinking. Yeah.
I think they still would be.
It's also about path. Like I saw something
Easier
based
path to the
on the
finals.
like the NFL. Like for example, the Patriots. We lost a bunch of guys. I'm a Patriots fan. Lost a bunch of guys. We're still favored to make the Super Bowl. Why? Because we have the easier path than the teams do in the NFC.
A Patriots fan and a LeBron.
I think it's only because of Brady and Belichick. Those two guys is why it doesn't matter who they lose or who they hate.
That's like LeBron. No, but that's like LeBron, right? It doesn't matter who comes in. As long as LeBron's there, he has a score, he has a few defenders,
That's
and
right.
rebounders.
Until that point is proven wrong, until he does get eliminated before the finals, you got to bank on him, man.
I'll say
But then,
one bad thing about the
hold on.
Raptors.
What I was going to say, like, this is just some random analogy that I have. Earthquakes are going to happen in California. Very off topic, right? So you know they're going to happen. You know one day they're going to happen. Nobody's going to predict when it's going to happen, but you know there's going to be a next one. LeBron's going to lose in the finals.
Yes.
Lose in the East final. He might lose in the second round. He might lose
Yeah,
in the
but
first
they won't
round.
win. They won't win the finals.
This is the weakest. This is the weakest he's had a team of since he was in Cleveland the first time,
Sure.
without a doubt. Right?
Yeah.
Do you mean weak talent?
Weakest team that he has.
Oh, yeah.
I disagree.
Which team was
He has
worse?
much more talent. And he has good talent on
Which
his
team was worse that he's had? Miami or Cleveland this round? You think he's had a worse team than this? His team's been more stacked than previous years.
The first team he had, Drew Gooden. Yeah.
But that's an old Cleveland run. That's
That
an
was
old
the old
Cleveland run.
Cleveland
I'm just
run.
talking from Miami to this term.
Yeah.
The last 7
This
years.
is the weakest team.
Anyways, I'm just saying, like, don't be surprised.
Kyrie.
I'm talking to Karen right now. Don't be surprised when LeBron loses because we know what's coming. We don't know when it's going to happen, but I feel like this is the best opportunity.
Sure.
Right? The weakest team, the Raptors are on the come up, Boston's been down. And who knows what's going to happen?
I go back to your comments, I still disagree about what DeRozan and Kyle said, because that was a loser's mentality.
That was.
But they have that mentality. Because they said it doesn't mean they don't.
Lowry didn't
That's
say
what
it.
Who was it?
Lowry sat out when he could have played a game that was
No,
probably
Lowry said
meaningless.
something too. They both said something.
Oh,
They
that's
both said something.
That's
I know for sure DeMar did because I remember seeing those memes.
You can't tell me they're saying that stuff about LeBron and that LeBron isn't in their heads because they didn't say that shit to the media.
It's in their head.
He's in their heads. That's why I'm a little iffy.
But here's the thing, though. I'm not going based off of those two stars. I'm saying the team and the way that they're playing. This is why I'm a Raptors fan this year. And what I'm saying is the way they're playing, even if DeRozan and Lowry do their little scared of LeBron behavior, I trust this team for them to do something. The only negative I'll say about the Raptors is I do not trust them with a minute left, up or down 1 or 2, because they do strange shot selections.
Even in overtime, just against Dallas, I saw some of that.
And if you take away that, if they can just have like a 5-point lead, 6-point lead, or something like that, then I can trust them. But
down
against
1
LeBron,
or something,
But LeBron, I know that they want him in the finals, and that's why I'm nervous. It's not because they're the better team. Those two teams play. They should get swept. How much better they are. But as for what I'm worried about, what I told you in rest and stuff, that's the only way on earth that LeBron can beat the Raptors this year. This Raptor team. They're deep from top to bottom. There's no bench better than them, as you said. The way that the bench plays, the way they play together, it's just unbelievable. The leading shot blocker is what's his name? Porto. And Ibaka is supposed to be our shot blocker. They're just defensively everything. They're perfect.
It's the best.
What I wanted to say too, even if you want to compare the LeBron teams, is last year they pretty much got swept, but they won 1 game. Remember, it was 4-1 against Golden State. Let's say that Cleveland escapes the East and makes it to the final against Golden State. There is no chance they win a game. There's a slim chance they win a game. They're much worse than last year, and I feel like Golden State, assuming they're healthy, because I want to talk about Golden State's injuries as well. They do have a lot. There's no way that Cleveland has the same team they did last year. It's not even close. And Golden State is not regressive.
A fully healthy Golden State.
They don't win a game.
Would win that game.
They win 4 games straight. And probably in blowouts like they did last year, minus that last game. Because they may have been hung up.
I'm always in the thing that teams at home usually at least take 1 game, but maybe probably be a 4-1 at minimum.
The only thing I'm just gonna obviously get off of this though that I'm gonna say is I'm thinking of the roster, and the only big difference, which is a big difference, is Kyrie. Now Isaiah was a good player and is a good player, but he wasn't able to put on the robbing cape as well as Kyrie did.
Well, they also took the ball out of his hands a lot, right?
Well, Kyrie didn't bring up the ball. LeBron brought the ball, so Kyrie was on the wing. But Kyrie was good because he's such a good player at adjusting at that. Isaiah couldn't adjust at not bringing up the ball. Exactly. So what I'm saying is, but if you take away Kyrie and Isaiah, let's say Kyrie was never there, and you take the rest of the players, this roster is better. They had a whole bunch of old bums. Jefferson, Fry, Jones. Was Jones there last year, or did he already leave?
No,
he already left.
Jones already.
Okay,
so they still had
they had nobody good.
Corver. They still have these
guys.
all their shooters. Yeah,
so you told me that their team is worse, but I'm saying their team is better.
But I'm also including Kyrie.
Okay, Kyrie's a big deal, right? But they traded Isaiah because he didn't fit.
The loss of Kyrie is huge. They don't have.
So
Kevin in the playoffs is up and down. He had a really bad playoffs last year. I actually wanted him gone last year. I didn't think he was that great in the playoffs. And then you look at I saw George Hill. I know we had this discussion in the group chat. Man, he's again a good player, but he's also a declining player. Man scored 3 points the other night. He's not again defensively. He hasn't been that great. I watched some of the games. He's not what he was a couple of years ago either. And Rodney Hood's is injured too. He's not doing much either.
Nance has been okay.
Nance has been the best. But if you look at what Crowder's doing in Utah, that's what I was expecting Crowder to do in Cleveland.
Okay, but this is just my point right here, and I wrote this down right now. Put your guys in positions to succeed.
Sure.
I don't think they've done that with Love. You talked about off camera, dragging him to the 3-point line all the time, sit there, look pretty, and shoot the shots. How are you going to get those rebounds, like you said? But he's still getting some. Exactly.
I mean, and you look at that. I mean, they gave him a lot of flack for, and now we know it was an anxiety attack that he had.
Which guy?
Kevin Love. So Kevin Love had an anxiety attack. They gave him flack because he had to leave, and the teammates were all over him. That kind of shows it. And one thing I do want to mention before we go is the Raptors. You can tell as a team they're with each other. Mm-hmm. You see all those post game interviews. That's telling to me
the camaraderie.
How they're joking around with Valanciunas, and CJ Miles comes up and jokes around, and Bruno Nogueira, who barely plays, comes up. He mentioned me in the interview. You see a different thing when those guys are playing together, and those those teams in the past, I didn't see a lot of that, to be honest.
I like it, but
I
I,
like
don't
it.
like
I like
joking
it.
because they haven't done anything yet. They
But-
continuously
but it
lost.
shows
I like it. I
that-
know what you're
But
saying.
these guys haven't lost. The guys that he's talking about haven't lost.
No, but Casey, these guys that have been there for a while, Valanciunas was joking around. He's been losing. I understand the three
I
young
want to
guys.
give Valanciunas some props too, because you know what? He's
I've
really
been talking about it.
Yeah, you have. Well, he's good. He's good the opportunity, and
I've been waiting.
he got slammed on hard. I think it was Finney yesterday, Smith, whatever. He slammed it hard on him, but he's getting more aggressive, and judging a book by what he is, he's finally getting a little bit more aggressive in the paint. They're giving him more touches and looks, and it's helping their offense as well. And he's gotten better on defense. It's not a liability like he was, where he can't play in the fourth quarter all those years that we've been talking about.
And I think your boy Yakam, I think, because he's been playing so well, he's actually pushing Valanciunas for minutes. He's causing them to.
And maybe that's why Valanciunas. I'm checking these numbers. He's getting like 20 and 12. Valanciunas a lot of these.
I've been waiting for it.
I hate when it looks like we're always disagreeing, but I'm just saying I don't think that was the case. I think that they were trying to fit and play small ball, and they were cutting Valanciunas out. I think Toronto is playing with their own identity, and that's why they're smoking.
They're not catering to other
Valanciunas
teams
is
like
playing
they were.
good. Exactly. Valanciunas is playing better, but it's not because he was worse before. They were just trying to play small ball to fit into other
And they
people.
mentioned that he actually, like, if you look at him, you can tell he's reconstructed his body.
Who?
And I think it's Valanciunas. He doesn't look as slow or bulky out there. He legitimately put some effort into reconstructing his body, and you can see the difference. And I think that's been a major difference for him too. He doesn't look as bulky or as slow going. He's got like a different kind of shape going, and if he keeps that up, again, I always thought that the man could be an all-star type level player because he has enough skill for it. And it's not like the East is like crazy for centers besides maybe Embiid and Drummond. There really isn't much.
I was going to say I have two questions for you guys. The second guy is, okay, I'll ask Drummond right now. Is Valanciunas better than Drummond?
This year, yes. Well, actually, no. Drummond's
Because, at the All-Star break, it was like Drummond's better, and now Valanciunas is actually getting 20-10, which he's not a better rebounder.
When we've all had these conversations about trading Valanciunas, and I always got mad, and I told you guys, my dad, he really wants Valanciunas gone, and all this stuff. The only person that I would ever be scared is Drummond. I'm not going to say. I guess Drummond might be a little better. I don't know. If you say he's not, I wouldn't argue you. But he's the only center in this league that I would give up Valanciunas for. I love Valanciunas. I'm not giving him up for Jordan. I don't care about his little dunks.
Embiid.
There's
lots of guys, man. There's Towns.
I'm not counting those guys. I mean the guys that available. Like Cousins and those guys are like superstars. I didn't mean.
So
you're
you're
gonna trade a guy one for a superstar.
Okay, so you're saying things that would be kind of a wash in the trade.
Like a trade that you can get equal trade, right?
Okay.
Well, Drummond has the free throw stuff kind of.
And he can't do anything.
He got better.
Yeah, he got better.
He's got
He got
like
better.
I think he's at like 60 or something. He's respectable.
Almost respectable.
What I wanted to jump to when you talked about body and slimming down, the guy that I was always compared him to, who I thought had passed Valanciunas, Nurkic. And now with Portland playing incredible, who would you rather have? Because both those guys, European big guys, very physical. I think Nurkic is a better defender, and he has a little bit more guts, balls. You know what I mean? I feel like he's.
I think Nurkic brings more to the game in terms of the passing,
both ends of the
passing
floor.
ability, and both. I would take Nurkic over Valanciunas.
I love Nurkic, but I'm a Valanciunas guy. I always liked him. I hated how they don't pass him the ball. I hate how people are disrespecting him. They're saying he's slow, but
And even Jokic.
Yeah, but I was going to mention Jokic, but Jokic I feel like is at a level above them. He's above all those guys.
That crazy.
he's better than them. But
Yeah,
again, I still would.
triple.
I love him.
Yeah.
I'm riding with him. We have a guy. He's loyal to us. He's not going to be asking for like $90 billion. Just keep him and stuff.
And what I wanted to end this whole segment with before we carry on after is I want to give the Toronto bench credit because what I feel like and the culture of the team, we talked about culture last year. Before I feel like guys were trying to get their numbers. And now, especially with the bench, and even DeMar and Kyle, like they don't have those gaudy numbers like they did. DeMar's had games where he's had 50, and he's also had games where he's had 12 this year, right? But with the bench, if CJ's hot that night, they're feeding CJ. If Van Vliet's killing it that night, they're going through him. Pirtle, Siakam, they're all playing defense. Van Vliet, DeLon, starts from up top with the guards. They're playing defense, they're playing unselfish, and they're feeding the hot.
And even Mitchell was getting points the other day.
Who?
Mitchell, I think they started him because
Malcolm Miller?
Was it Mitchell?
Malcolm Miller.
Malcolm Miller started Mitchell.
They're so deep now. I mean, they're playing like 14. They had that guy Nigel Hayes. They played against the Knicks, who drained 2 threes in their face there. Doing Casey had to tell them to calm down, stop talking garbage in front of their bench. But we're gonna finish off, I guess, with this segment. I do like the Raptors. At the beginning of the year, I was kind of hinting at I thought that this was the best team ever that they've had, and I don't feel like that's a discussion anymore. I feel like this is undoubtedly the best roster that they've had. You can talk about Vince all you want, and Vince is probably the best player that would have been on either team. I don't think that's really up for debate. But as a squad, 10 guys, whatever you want to say, like it's
No,
the Raptors have never
I
been this.
I wouldn't say talent wise though.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say talent. I think deep wise, yes, but I won't because I still got.
Are you talking
my
about
heart-
names? Are you talking about names that are like
Okay,
35 when they came in?
But
They were-
no,
like Oakley,
no,
Oakley
man,
was
I
good,
mean, if we had
Curry,
Oakley,
Kevin
we had
Brown.
Kevin Willis, man, they had some good
Nah, they were
players.
good, man.
Had some good.
They were
But I would
good.
agree with you from 1 to 14.
Yeah, like
yes,
roster
but
depth.
talent wise,
That team would kill this Raptor team.
I'm being dead.
So that team would win. That team would go to the finals then. If they had that team.
I
that
wouldn't.
year.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't
Because
say
if
that.
they
I would
say-
say kill 'em.
Yes, I would. That Raptor McGrady team that lost to the Knicks, that roster.
That wasn't even their best team of that era.
Who's their best team?
I think when they lost to the Sixers, when
Then
Vince was
again,
there, team
that
had
was
no
everybody's-
with Williams and
At everybody's highest potential, that Raptors team. But at that current level Raptors,
Talking
McGrady,
about that
McGrady
year.
hadn't like this.
He's like a second
That's
year
fine.
guy.
I don't care. He doesn't have to be that guy. That team was good.
It was.
Yeah, that team was
I think this
good.
Raptors team would beat them, but talent wise, I'd still go with the McGrady.
You're thinking the Mark Jackson team, which is Mark Jackson was a good player, but I didn't. And Elijah Wan.
Chris
No.
Child's team.
Olajuwon was on that team that they lost to the Sixers in the semis.
No,
Wasn't he?
No.
no, I don't believe.
No,
They had Mark Jackson as their point guard, and like
Del Curry was there too at that
Del
point.
Curry.
Was he still there?
We had JYD.
JYD. That
Keon
team,
Clark
yeah.
was Keon Clark still there at that point?
We had
Keon
Clark, and we had our center. Our,
Antonio Davis.
Those were the memories.
Williams
Williams.
that came from
Aaron
Sacramento.
Williams.
We had Alvin Williams.
What's his name? He was the
Corliss
small forward.
Williamson.
Corliss
Yeah,
Williams,
Williams,
big
yeah.
nasty, big
Yeah,
nasty.
Like, that team was nice.
You got a little history lesson from the young guys here. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up quickly. I was going to say I do have the Raptors going to the East Final, and I'm going to be bold enough to say I do think that they get to the finals this year, and I'm hoping. And I'm just on the record.
That was throwing down the playoff tickets.
Oh man, I did invest in the playoff tickets.
But
You
I got to
the
be
guy,
on record
kind
too.
of.
Celtics are my team, so if they were to somehow make it there, I'm not no bandwagon.
Hold on.
But I believe Raptors are going to the
You
finals.
did say we were talking about Toronto before, so you got two squads. You said we were.
Celtics are my team. Raptors aren't my team. I'm saying they play
So,
beautiful basketball.
I think a fully healthy Celtics team we would have a different conversation. But I don't know. I mean, Kyrie injury. I think that pretty much puts him. He's supposed to have surgery. I've heard that might be a really lingering situation.
Is Kyrie
He's
better?
always hurt.
Hold on. Once again, another question. We're gonna end this segment that I've talked with Zane about. Now Damian Lillard, because they've won so much in a row. I do love Kyrie. I think Kyrie's a really gifted scorer. I do think that the gap between Lillard and Kyrie is not that much.
I never thought it was that.
But a lot of people, because of the fancy dribbling, you know what I mean? And like I said, I can't say anything other than the fact that neither of them really play defense. I do think that I might even rather take Lillard.
Well, not to bring it back to
It's
not to bring
It's
it back
tough.
to.
Like he has that final shot. And like I said, I love Kyrie. I'm just saying, like people before Lillard didn't even make All-Star teams.
Well, you saw what not to take it back to LeBron. You saw what LeBron said, right? That give him Lillard and he'd be perfectly happy.
I want you to talk about that. I want you to talk. And I said that to both of you guys.
When you sent me that, I didn't even filter. It's okay.
It's
for
so
you to say
petty.
that now.
It's so like tampering.
Like, you
So what we
really
want, hold on.
tampering.
What I want to say is LeBron recently said about Damian Lillard about is it being underappreciated or something like that.
Well, no, he basically said that that he's underappreciated and that Lillard, like give me Lillard and he wouldn't be underappreciated anymore because he's basically saying that he wants to play with Lillard.
Yeah, which is tampering.
Which is
right?
tampering,
Yeah, which is
technically,
exactly
yeah.
tampering. But it's okay because LeBron said it.
And
Adam
no
Silver's gonna let it
one's
slide.
embarrassed by that. Like, how many guys do you want to play with?
Yeah.
But it's good. But it's
He's
good. I mean,
pathetic.
he's giving the man his due. I mean that's for Lillard.
Who is he
He's
though?
not on
His
his
dad?
team.
Is he his
Exactly.
dad?
No,
Oh, look at my boy. He's good.
He did send it the best.
Come
Ben
take my
Simmons
son.
a couple years ago. Like I told you guys, this is gonna be the new young king. He's basically doing that whole
You're
thing.
not on my
Yeah, but
team.
Lillard's like 28 years old now.
You're
or
not on my
27.
team.
Yeah, he's not on his
Why are
team.
you talking about me? Leave me alone.
I mean that again. He didn't say anything negative about the man. Gave him his due.
Because
We're
too much of a
focusing on
coward.
a team that's
He's not
losing.
gonna play with them. He's not gonna go to Portland. So I mean that's
He
a better
could.
argument. He's not gonna go to Portland.
Maybe he'll get him to force a
He
trade.
would if he
That would
wanted
be-
to
get him to force a
I
trade.
predicted LA
I can
before
imagine a
anybody
man
was
in that kind of.
Yeah, I told you that. I predict that before anyone on this planet
So
is going to leave.
you had to bet you'd say he's going to Lakers.
Oh god.
LeBron next year goes to Lakers.
I'm saying that my prediction was he was going to LA before any of these gossiping rumors. I said,
Yeah, but that's fine. You
he's
still
going.
think he's going. You think next year he plays for the
I
Lakers?
just can't picture him going to any other team.
The Sixers
he's going-
are a talk.
I can see him go to
He's
Houston.
not going
I
there.
can see him go to
I
Houston.
can see him going to Houston. So,
Houston.
okay,
I think Houston's
LA
a
or
real
Houston.
sleeper.
LA or Houston. And the only reason I think he'll go to Houston is because he can say
Durant
better.
did it.
Like Durant did.
Well,
It
he's
doesn't-
also very good friends with Chris Paul.
It doesn't mean anything.
I think it's more of a sure thing if he goes to
Plus,
Houston
they got
because
Harden there, too.
they're already an amazing team.
And nobody will care.
I think if he wants to win, he'll go to Houston. If he just
think
wants to go to LA
and you'll still
and
call
have
him great.
another jersey, you'll still call him great.
You would. You would. You know what remind me of? You know what remind me of with LeBron? Like, you know how they raised the gas prices to 120 and then when it drops to 100, everyone's freaking out. 100 is it's like they've accepted.
They folded him.
He's completely
No. What is the
You're in the
man?
major. You're in the
What
major.
is the man? Okay, I've never said that LeBron's been the most loyal guy in the world. That's never come out of my mouth. But what is the man choosing different teams to go to? Not make the man. So you tell me that Kevin Durant isn't great because he ditched OKC because he didn't want to play Westbrook, went to Golden State, and he's not a great player.
I've heard the
That's a bad argument.
I've heard the consistency in your
Bad
comments.
argument.
I've heard the.
I know it's loyal.
If I put you like in Siri, right, and she heard everything you're saying, and she had to make a prediction. And I can guarantee you right now, if LeBron played his whole career, exact same stats, made it to 1 finals, has 0 championships, you wouldn't be calling him the best. I know that for a fact. So winning is a part of your equation, and the reason he's winning is because of this team jumping, because of these players stacking. That's a part of his winning. It's not him destroying people.
He would have been Paul Pierce before Paul Pierce got that ring, maybe, right? Like, well, Paul Pierce obviously was on the LeBron level, but before Paul Pierce won, everybody's like he's a
We go back to
team.
I get it. It was made through trade. That was legitimately the first stacked team, and you can say all about LeBron.
Which one was
That
the
Boston team was
No.
the first stacked
Oh,
team. They had
my
3 All-Stars. I get it.
We gotta go to break. We gotta go back to break. We're gonna come back
Oh,
and we're gonna talk about the West because we'll be here all day talking about 2009. We'll see you guys in a second. We'll turn on the block.
I don't believe
It's true. It's true. They
Garnett
traded for Garnett.
didn't want to.
They traded for Garnett. They traded for Allen. Though they got him for a song. I think the best player they got was like a young Joe. Was a young Joe Johnson who wasn't that good back then.
Garnett had been playing in Minnesota for over 14 years. They